What is up, guys? I'm not sure if everybody can see me. I'm sure Scott from Honor is in the chat. If you are, say hi. I just want to see if this actually worked. Doing this a little bit differently than I normally do. I'm actually out in my shed, as you guys can probably tell, and doing this from my book here. I don't really know how this works, to be honest. I haven't played around with this much. But if you guys can hear me, give me a message in the chat. Let me know. Just kind of curious to see. But today kind of starts the beginning of the winter time for me. For those of you who don't know, basically my ability to fish is over, and I typically supplement a little bit of my time hunting for a little while, and that is over because today was the last day of deer season. So now we're working on pouring some soft plastic baits, and one of the colors that I was using last year, if you guys saw any of my videos, won me quite a bit of money in tournaments, and just was a really successful color for me, was really basic. This is not going to be a fancy episode with a color recipe, but this one's going to be kind of a cool one because this is a color that I have a lot of success with. It's actually just a simple black bait with green fleck in it. So nothing super fancy. Nobody really makes a black with green. Everybody makes black blue fleck, and it's something that honestly I've been trying for a long time to find something that's just a subtle difference, something that other people don't have. I'm going to apologize right now. This is probably how it's going to sound, so it's going to sound probably awful, but I'm not willing to get cancer to make a live stream. So Scott Vermonter, as the resident expert in the live streams, does this sound completely awful, or can you actually make out what I'm saying? But basically, guys, this is how it's going to work. Is I'm going to be here to answer questions. I'm just going to talk and ramble, and I'm hoping that you guys enjoy the show. If you guys have any questions about fishing, about plastics, about things coming up from my YouTube channel, just ask. Otherwise, I'm just going to more or less just hang out with you guys, talk fishing, and yeah, melt some plastic. So anytime I do this, what I do is, what the fuck is this stuff? All right, so, and I'm gonna apologize, guys, if I get people that are trolling me. I'm gonna try to block them as I can, but again, I'm using a weird screen, so I'm gonna try to block people as I have the ability. But we're gonna start with, I typically do all of my recipes with a cup of plastisol. It's just, this right here is actually not the stuff I'm going to be using for other baits and other videos. This is the last bit of the stuff that I had before. The new stuff that I ordered that won't be here for another week is actually called Dead On Plastics. And what's really cool about the Dead On Plastics is it has an additive to it that makes it sink. So what happens is I don't have to add salt to the Dead On Plastics. And that's really cool because salt actually has a big effect on the durability of the bait and the color. So basically, I'm going to keep trying to block these guys, and I apologize if these keep popping up, but may have to start doing the non-short video person if this keeps happening. But basically, what I like to do is the plastic, it's called the Black Label Dead On Plastics. That stuff is coming. I also have a cool mold. I'm going to show you guys right here. It's a top pour. So
instead of trying to make, you guys know from my channel that I love the thing's hot. I really love the Pro Blue Shiner Kitech Easy Shiner. Well, I finally found a top pour mold, so I'm going to be able to make 2 color baits without having to specifically try to mix it in a mixing block or trying to do fancy stuff with scissors or crap that I've done in the past. This allows me to pour in a little bit of the stuff and then take a little bit out, pour a little bit more in, and it allows me to kind of customize my pour, which is going to be nice because the Pro Blue Shiner color I've never been able to replicate because I always end up having like a weird mix that happens. And I actually can take this off
real quick because I haven't started melting plastic yet. But so this mold right here, guys, is what they call an open pour mold. So you can kind of see there's a crevice in there. And what's cool about it is, like I said, I'm going to be able to pour my Pro Blue Shiner Kitech Easy Shiner. And I'm going to be able to make some of these colors that I like that I can't find at the local stores. So, and I apologize for all the stupid people that are putting comments in here. So yeah, Dave, I'm making a ton of stuff. So right now, the reason why I'm pouring this specific color, this black and green fleck, is because I pour craws, newts, worms, swim baits of 2 different sizes, and that open pour mold. So I'm actually going to be pouring about 6 or 8 molds of this with this particular color. I'm kind of stocking up for next year. I actually ran out towards the end of the year and had to re-pour some of this. But for some reason, this specific color was the only color I could get to work on a swim jig. So I'm kind of excited to actually checking something real quick, guys. But the swim jig color pattern, that black and green, was the only trailer I could get to actually catch fish on for some reason. Yeah, it's so what I like to do this time of year, because I can't fish, is I like to stock up on all the plastics. My ultimate goal is I want to try and make all my plastics. So I don't think I'll be able to accomplish it in 2025, but my ultimate goal is by the end of 2025, I want to get to the point where I'm not buying any more plastics, where I'm pouring all of my own. I have a mold coming from Angling AI, that's actually kind of cool, and I'll show you guys that in the next episode that I do like this. But what's cool about it is it's actually the Pit Boss. So if you guys have ever used the Berkeley Pit Boss bait, I actually have a mold coming that makes those. So that's one of the major like Texas rig baits that I use, and I'm able to make that now using the Angling AI specific mold, and then I'm going to make my own craws and everything else so that ideally I won't have to buy any plastics at all. So
we're going back to Darth Vader mode here. The Pit Boss is my favorite Texas rig trailer. It really is. It's definitely the one that I catch the most fish on. It works out really, really good for using on chatterbaits too. Hey, Michael Bradley, dude. So this particular series, don't feel bad about not being, or I mean you're early, but I set the thing to go off at 6:15, but I just decided to start it early. I actually thought it was going to take longer than it did to heat everything up and get everything ready out here. So, for those of you uninitiated redneck folks, I have an extension cord run across my yard so I can run a griddle to heat up my molds because my molds were so cold that it was causing issues when I was pouring. So I have power run to my shed, but I can't use a microwave and a griddle at the same time. I learned that today. So I actually have an extension cord running across the yard. I thought it was going to take me longer to set up, which is why I chose 6:15 for a start. But yeah, so But yeah, so what we're doing today, Michael Bradley, you weren't in here earlier, is I'm actually pouring some plastics. I'm kind of cut out there. Sorry about that. I have a lot of stuff coming up on the channel soon, so I was going to talk about stuff like that and more or less just hanging out with you guys. And, you know, I'm assuming people are going to drop off and go watch football later, but I'm probably going to start doing these more and more on the weekends. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully we don't get too many more bots that want me to go to a Diddy party or whatever the hell they keep saying in the chats. I'm trying to block people as they come in. I might be able to name a moderator through this site, and if that happens, I may be asking someone that's willing, that hangs out with me on every show, like Michael Bradley, Scott for Moderator. I might show you guys, maybe somehow give you guys the power of being moderators and let you guys boot people for me too. So I'm working on that. Dave's watching football now. I don't blame you, dude. See, my whole problem right now is I'm a Jets fan. So watching football is too painful for my like emotions, and I can't do it right now because the Jets have only gotten worse, and so I just stopped watching football. Chill, boy. Making soft plastic swim baits mostly. Um, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure I'm gonna draw a pretty interesting audience by sitting here talking with a respirator mask on. But there's my boy Brad. Brad, you should be out fishing, dude. Did you put? Hey, Brad, did you get your kayak yet, or are you? Is that still in the works? I know you were talking about going and getting it. For those of you who don't know, Brad in the chat there, he's one of the guys that fishes my Slay Nation trail. He purchased a new kayak that he's going to be going and getting very soon and getting that set up. He actually does a few YouTube videos too, so you guys should check his stuff out. He's actually in the background of a lot of my videos, so if you see the guy with the extremely orange measuring board in the background of my videos, it's him. So, yeah, dude, Delaware? That's a long drive. I'm waiting till January and hopefully I'm going to get one at a trade show, but I might end up doing the same thing. I might have to drive all the way down somewhere to go get it. Luckily, there's some native dealers around, so. So I think my Wi-Fi sucks out here a little bit, guys. Am I cutting out, or are you guys still seeing me straight through? Yo, what were you in Alabama for? I forgot to ask you that when you were in the chat. Like, what were you down in Alabama for? Like a family vacation or work or something? Alright, got some air bubbles. I'm gonna have to cook this a little bit more. But if you guys see, this is why I have a mask on, because this is literally plastisol. And I want to live, so I don't want to, dude, that's the worst kind of trip then. You were down in fishing territory and you had to hang out with the in-laws? That's awful, dude. That's why I'm glad most of my in-laws don't really do anything for the holidays, so I don't have to go anywhere. I pretty much just spent the whole weekend here. Oh, man. So I may, if I get my new kayak, Brad, I may have sold my old town. I may have actually been able to sell my old town to one of the guys I went to Cayuga with. He's looking for a backup kayak. So, first thing I do, guys, I add about a 16th of mica powder. So something, if you guys get into this bait making stuff, I actually recommend not using the liquid colorant as much. I actually like the mica powders better. And the beauty of using a mica powder is it's a lot cheaper. So if you guys are looking to get into doing this stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, the running joke about this is that the bait making honestly is probably one of the most expensive things that you'll get into to try to save money because the molds and everything are super expensive to start out. But what I recommend is if you're gonna start out, start making basic colors, and essentially what you need to do is you need to start small. Start with baits that you usually use, like worm molds, swim baits, things like that. Don't get fancy molds that you don't know how to use because it does have a little bit of a learning curve. But what you can do is you can get mica powder at like craft stores. That's what this is right here. It's just black powder. It's just pigment powder, but it makes the baits. It's so much cheaper, and at the end of the day, you're able to really get a lot more color options without having to spend so much money because like for instance, Do It has the X2 colorant, which is not bad. I mean, I'm literally using it right now, but the liquid colorant is kind of expensive, and it doesn't go as far as you would think. So I recommend um, getting the mica powders and any of the pearl pigments and stuff like that. You can get all the stuff designed for like resin crafting, and it's exactly the same stuff. As a matter of fact, and I don't recommend this, most of my glitters are not metal, they're poly glitter. You just have to be really careful with your glitter because the poly glitter will actually melt. I have some measuring cups in here that permanently have some specks on them because decided to try to use poly glitter. But if you use the mica powder and a combination of like a little bit of liquid colorant, you'll save a lot of money and you can get a lot more variety. So just something to recommend. Um, like I said, this color right here is not that fancy. I don't even really have a recipe for it. I essentially just keep making this as black as possible. If you guys can kind of see, I make it dark. I stir it up until I kind of test it on my table here to see how it's going to dry out. And then I just kind of keep adding pigment to it until it's as dark as I want it to be. Scott, I meant to ask you, dude, did you end up fishing out of your kayak a bunch, or did you just like only get to use it a few times before the season ended? I know you were really excited about getting your old town, but we really didn't. I didn't talk to you too much about fishing out of it. It's starting to solidify a little bit on me. I'm probably gonna have to stir this back up. And also, guys, am I cutting out at all? Like, are you guys seeing any glitchiness? Ultimately, I can't tell because I'm on a little tiny screen, but it did say it was syncing again, so I'm hoping you guys can still hear me. Only 2 times? What lakes did you go to? Did you go anywhere cool, or did you hit Somerset? Or Somerset's going to be on our tournament trail next year, so you'll be happy to know that we'll be doing a southern tournament. I think I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of moss green in this. Maybe a little bit more. Dude, I'm surprised it sounds good because I'm talking through this freaking mask and it's crazy. It's really hard to talk through this. Oh, you got. What do you, Scott? What are you adding to your kayak? Are you adding anything really fancy or just simple stuff? I'm assuming like a crate and rod holders and stuff. Oh, okay. I want to get down there and go fishing with you guys next year, so we should definitely make a plan to go down there. I'm going to be hitting up Somerset probably a bunch because I actually got a cap on my truck, and I'm going to be doing some camp outs at Somerset, and I plan on actually doing a tournament there. I think it's going to be July, I think is when it was. So I'm going to be down that way quite a bit, checking out some of the southern lakes. So if you want to meet up, Dave and Scott, we should definitely hang out and do a video or something. Wow. Let's see if I can get this in here without. Yeah, keel guard is hugely necessary. A lot of people don't realize how important that can be, but you're running that thing up on shore every single time you use it, so it's definitely a valuable thing. Oh yeah, no, Dave. If we get ice, if you Scott and Dave, do you guys ice fish at all? I was talking more spring, but if you guys ice fish, I'd be down to come down there once there's safe ice. It's a big one. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go down there for sure. I'm gonna be hitting more southern lakes next year, trying to explore a lot more. I really like just fishing places I've never fished before, so that's kind of the idea. This batch is probably gonna suck because this mold is so cold, but oh. So if you guys are gonna do any ice fishing, let me know because I'm down to do that too. I think my dog is freaking out. I might have to go like yell at her for a minute, but I'm sure anybody who joined this that doesn't understand what I'm doing probably thinks I'm out here making meth or something. Like probably thinks I'm making some sort of like LSD gummies or something because it probably looks like that. But no, I'm making plastic baits. I promise. So I'm gonna let those cool down a little bit. I'm gonna try this open pour mold. I don't really know how this is gonna come out, but we're about to find out if I suck at open pour. So bear with me, guys. I'm gonna have to really concentrate on this one. A little bit of flashing on that, but alright, guys. Sorry about that. I'm already there. So Yeah, dude. So my plan, guys, I don't know. I haven't talked about this on the channel yet, but I actually bought a cap for my truck in Rutland. So I now can sleep in my truck. And my plan is I want to do some cool content where I actually do some camping. So I want to go down to Somerset, drive down there, fish all day, camp at night, fish the following day, and then go home. So there's going to be probably at least 3 or 4 times where I go down on a Friday, fish all day, camp, and then fish all day Saturday. So if you guys are around and want to meet up at Somerset, I'm down to do that for sure. It's something that I want to try. That place is huge, and I feel like it's going to be something that we really need to like break down in order to figure out. So I'm actually gonna be doing a whole video series there. I do want to try that Sodego that place. I don't know. I'll have to like plan things out, but I could also do that too. I could camp down at Somerset and then hit that as well. So being down, that's about Somerset's I think about 2 hours from me. So it's quite the trip south, but still definitely a fun place to check out. It looked like it has a lot of smallmouth. Is there any size at Somerset, or is it all like small fish? I'll be right back, guys. My dog is freaking out, so 1 second. All right, I'm back. Dude, Brad, I'm telling you, dude, if you want to try, listen, so if you want to get into it, what I suggest is get a do it starter kit, get the injector and whatever mold you want. And if you have specific baits you want to make, ask me, dude. You can borrow some of my molds so you don't have to spend so much money. I don't really make baits during the season. I make most of them during the off season, like right now. So a lot of times my baits are just sitting here all summer. So I don't really necessarily need to have you buy the molds, dude. So if you don't want to buy the molds, you can borrow mine so you can get used to it, see if you like it first. That was probably loud as hell. I'm sorry about that. Where the hell are my scissors? There they are. Crotch shot. But yeah, guys, this right here, I'll show you. This is the color. You guys can't probably really see it, but it's like black and green. That's the color that I was catching most of my fish on swim baits on. So that's kind of like my restock here. That's probably gonna be bad, but see, I've never really fished Somerset because the only time I went to Somerset was in March and it was snowing, and then we went home, and then I never went back. So just never got time. You guys have never done this, so this is kind of how they come in the mold. You actually take the bait and cut off what's called the sprue, which is the front part, that little knob right there. That's kind of where the port that you pour into is. So you have to cut all the baits out of that. so you get an actual finished swim bait. I'm just kind of laying them out on a table right here next to me. Because you do have to lay the baits flat when you pour them, because if you don't, what happens with swim baits is when you don't lay them flat, they get like crooked and then they swim weird. You guys will have to definitely show me some of the secrets to fish in that place, because it looks massive. Like, I looked at the map and it looks like it's a gigantic reservoir and there's a lot of different places. So I also noticed there's a lot of like really shallow areas. Like, I don't feel like it'd be an area that you'd be able to figure out real easily without having some prior knowledge. Yeah, dude, see, that's the thing. I don't really care about like I mean, I catch pike and pickerel constantly everywhere I fish. Most of the bodies of water I fish, there's more pike and pickerel than there is bass, so those don't really bother me too much. Just doing a quick reheat of that plastisol now. So you guys watching, dude, so Brad, I'm telling you, the biggest thing about it is the cost to get set up is high. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely not a cheap thing to get into, but it's really fun to kind of play around and experiment with stuff. And you'll find some colors. Like, the main reason I got into bait making wasn't for any type of retail or like selling it or anything. It was because if you wanted a color that you can't buy at the local store, like for me, it was green pumpkin Kitex. For some reason, the year I started pouring baits, there was none. You couldn't find them. They weren't available. Nobody had them, right? So what that did is it created a place where I could make my own version of that green pumpkin Kitex and not have to hope that they come in stock or order them from some freaking website and wait for them to come in. So that's kind of what my plan was, and then from there it turned into hundreds of dollars of molds and plastisol and doing live streams. My dog is freaking out. When I just left, guys, I was literally sitting here being annoyed, thinking my neighbor's dog was freaking out. Come to find out, it was my freaking dog the whole time. Kind of stupid. I think I may have screwed that mold up a little bit. If I have enough to even finish this one out. Cut those off. Alright, I don't want that. Yeah, it's still drying. Let's see, I'll turn that off for now. What did you pour at Matt's, Brad? For those of you who don't know, Matt, one of the guys in our Slay Nation trail, So, Scott, green pumpkin purple, actually, I'll sidetrack with that on you. Is it green pumpkin purple color, or is it a green pumpkin bait with a purple fleck? Is it like a 2-layer? Is it a craw? What kind of bait is it? I'm not afraid to try some stuff. my plan is I'm going to try to do this series like once a week. And my plan is actually to play around with some colors. So green, purple, was it green pumpkin purple? Purple flank. So it's just a green, like a regular, like, Yumdinger green pumpkin. Is it a worm? Because I could do that. That's easy. I could definitely do that. That's a simple color pattern, really. And Brad, back to what I was saying before I had my ADD tangent. What kind of baits did you pour at Matt's? I'm actually going to be going to his house. I was talking to him and Pete, and I'm going to be doing a series with those guys where I'm going to film them so I can get some content. But I'm going to be going to Pete's and film with him, and then I'm going to be going over to Matt's and film some in his shop too. So works very well for me. So just so I can understand it, it's a regular Senko. Like that color purple, or is it more of a lighter purple? And this doesn't do it very fucking good, but if it's that color purple right there, that's pretty easy. That's called pansy purple. See if I can open this up and show you guys. So it's like that. That's actually worse. Yeah, my Wi-Fi out here is absolutely awful. I actually bought a router so that I could do this, and it's still having connection issues. I'm still kind of working on that. Okay, so I will, Scott, send me a photo of one of your baits, and I will actually try to replicate that in a future episode. I don't know if it'll be the next episode, but it will be very soon. Alright, we're going to take a look at this bait that I poured. It's still hot as hell. So this is the new mold I just got. Man, that thing's hot. Holy crap. That thing does not cool down at all. Not so sure this bait's even set up yet. But probably opening this up way too early. It's probably going to melt on me, but if you guys haven't checked them out, England AI has some really cool freaking molds. And they have a lot of top pour style molds. I'm probably taking this apart way too early. Yeah, I am. Probably let it cool down a little bit more. Because that thing is still freaking scorching right now. So we're going to let that sit for a minute. Let it cool down. But I can show you guys some of the other ones that I made in the meantime. What's up, buddy? If you guys want some actual bait making content, Off the Hook Outdoors right there in the chat. He does a lot of live streams where he's pouring baits. Way better at it than I am. I'm just doing this for fun. But if you guys want some real content, that's your guy to follow for sure. Dude, so Brad, the England AI, they actually have a core shot worm mold. That's pretty cool. Like literally comes with the rods and everything. It's all pre-made. It's kind of nice. Yeah, I opened that way too early. Oh yeah, screwed that one up. Boy, those are way too hot. That's alright. I'll just remelt all that stuff. But yeah, guys, Off the Hook, he does hunting content too if you guys get into that, because I've tried doing hunting content and it sucks. It is no easy task trying to get the damn deer to stand still long enough to get them on camera. So my damn dog is freaking out because my wife left and she thinks I left. Driving me absolutely crazy. Nice. Yeah, see, dude, you're in an area where that's a thing. Um, there's no getting 5 deer here. You can't get more than 3 deer in a season here, period. So, God, these are freaking hot. Alright, guys, I'll be right back again. Entertain yourselves because my damn dog is freaking out and she's going to piss my neighbors off. So I got to go yell at her. I'll be right back, guys. Yeah, actually, dude, have you used any of the England AI molds? I'm trying one out right now with the G3. I'm starting to play around with top pour. I think it's kind of cool open pour stuff because I want to make multiple, colored swim baits and stuff. I feel like that's the easier way to do it, but haven't quite mastered it yet. These freaking molds are way too hot still. I might have to let all this stuff cool down a little bit. So I do want to say, guys, I do have I have a guest. I'm going back to Thursdays for the Spawn podcast. I've been competing with too many people during the week, and I've been getting a lot of people that I like to watch that are doing their show on Tuesday, Maine being one of them. So rather than try to compete with everybody, I'm moving back to Thursdays for the Spawn. I will be running podcasts for the first 3 weeks of December, and then I won't be for the holiday because no one really wants to watch me on the live stream when they're hanging out with their family. Um, I won't have a ton of videos in December and January. Actually, some of them are bait making videos from last year, so be on the lookout for those. And then I'm going to be doing some more of these lives and some other stuff along the way. I'm trying to get some people together to do some like product reviews, stuff like that. Talk about stuff that they bought throughout the year and whether they liked it or whether they hated it and stuff like that. Kind of like the Tactical Bassin buyer's guide, but honestly a less tackle warehouse influenced version where we talk about stuff that we actually bought from real retailers and not stuff that we're getting a discount on for free and trying to plug to get you guys to buy. So something I'm kind of working on for out later in the year. I also have my boy Bear Fishing is going to be coming on hopefully sometime soon to do a recap of our tournament season. We had a really cool tournament season overall, and one of the nice things is we took Angler of the Year. I actually took over as the director next year, so there's going to be some weird content that you guys are going to see on the channel where I'm actually going to be recording the weigh-ins, and then I'm going to put that up as part of my video. So you guys are going to see the whole weigh-in with me talking and everything. We've even talked about having like a digital projector and a presentation kind of thing. So you guys may be seeing that as well. These particular lives, I'm going to try to do these like every other week and just come out and make some baits and talk with you guys. So if you have any questions, topics, anything that you want to ask, or, any type of either plastics making stuff, I'm not that great, but I can answer some questions, or fishing techniques or anything like that. If you guys have any interest in doing that, my plan is to try and just come on every other week, do this with you guys, hang out, talk, and kind of catch up because I'm not going to be making content until ice fishing. I will try to make some ice fishing content if we get safe ice, but the guys that are up here know lately it hasn't been the case. We haven't really been able to get safe ice. It hasn't been something that has been a thing. It's been even kind of risky when we did go, but if we do get safe ice, I'm going to make some content like that. So probably going to run this live stream for about 15, 20 more minutes. And then I got a few more baits to make, and then I'm probably going to call it a night. But I really thank you guys for hanging out with me, too. I mean, it was kind of random. I didn't advertise this. It was just something I threw up just to see what would happen. It was kind of a beta test to see if anybody would even come watch it, and you guys did. So I really appreciate you guys for doing that, for sure. Man, these freaking baits are still hot, dude. Dude, it's been awful. Like the way the ice has been, it's not only been like bad ice, it's been no ice. Like I know guys that were fishing on Champlain into January from bass boats. And it's not really something that is typically a thing. Like normally by now we're thinking about, starting to get some bass fishing or some ice fishing going, but it just hasn't been a thing. It's just still a little hot. Scott, if we get some safe ice though, would you want to go? Would you want to link up somewhere and go? Put these open a little bit. Should not have heated these molds up the way I did. Yeah, it's going to come out like that. What the hell? Those almost came out green. Not much for ice fishing, dude. So I'm not gonna lie, neither am I. The only reason I ice fish, to be 100% honest with you, dude, is because if I don't ice fish, then I can't fish for a whole chunk of the year, and I get bored. And that's really the reason I ice fish. It's not because I enjoy it. It's not because I love it. I don't even have that great of gear. I honestly buy like very limited stuff. I have crappy gear, and I just choose not to really do it because it's not really been a productive thing for me. But it helps me make content, so I've started kind of doing it more. But I'm not a huge fan of it either myself, dude. To be honest with you. The spot pop this open. There we go. You know, actually, for my first open pour, guys, so you're here live to see my first open pour. There's a ton of flashing. This is freaking awful. But I'm going to show you guys because I forgot to put the stupid thing in here. But this is the new mold I got, guys. Pretty freaking cool. I'll probably just try to rip that off, actually. So this right here, guys, is the new mold I got from England AI. And you guys can't really see it, but it's got a lot of detail on the side of it. I don't know if you'll be able to even see that on this crappy camera, but see how it's got like all the scales to it? This right here is a little swim bait. It's an open pour mold, so you guys can see it's not very big. And this is going to be the new addition to the channel right here. This right here, I'm hoping, is going to replace these. It's actually a little bit smaller. But these right here, I'm going to be able to pour in multiple colors. And actually, to be honest, it came out pretty good, except for it has a little bit of a groove in the top. I'm going to have to work on pouring those a little bit better, a little bit more accurately. But it's definitely a learning curve with the top pour. But if you guys haven't checked them out, check out the Anglin AI G3. It's a pretty freaking cool mold, and it's something that I'm kind of playing around with this year. Not sponsored by them or anything. I'm just interested in see how they, how they all come out. Winter, I become a gear shopper. Yeah, dude, that's what happens. Honestly, that's really what it is. When you get into the winter months, that's when you spend a lot of your money because you have nothing to do, and then you see someone talking about a bait, especially the southern guys that are down there like, oh, yeah, I'm using this bait, and I'm catching them, and you're like, oh, maybe I should buy like 5 of those. And then that's actually why I'm doing this, because if I sit out here and pour my own baits, I'm not in the house ordering stuff on Amazon. So this is actually how it saves me money, is I'm not wasting money ordering stuff yet because I'm still actually taking the time to make stuff instead. That's the worst part about the winter months, guys, is that up here in the north, we got nothing else going on. So we don't have any choice but to spend our time, online, watching YouTube videos, watch other people fish. A lot of people have to we have to live through the southern guys. What reel are you getting, Scott? Casting or spinning? You getting a casting or spinning reel? Dude, I have so many reels. It's ridiculous. It's not healthy. Dude, yeah, exactly. Dude, I actually bought 2 more lengths of pegboard so that I can hang all the plastics, and I'm going to be reorganizing all my baits in the next couple of weeks. And the office that I have, Bear's seen it. Um, okay, so you're a Shimano guy. Um, I have so many freaking baits, and my goal is to try to use all of the plastics that I have up, and then eventually not buy anymore. But I've got so many freaking plastics that I've got. That's weird. Every time I open the microwave, it kills my signal. It's all that cancer coming out of that microwave. Yeah, dude. So I've never used an SLX. I don't. I'm actually kind of not traditional. I guess I'm not like traditional, but like I'm like on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to reels. Dude, I bought them all. I've had, I mean, other than like a Corrado, but I don't like Shimano because I don't like centrifugal brakes. I freaking hate centrifugal brakes. And Brad can tell you I don't even like drag. He bought a reel off of me, and I just do not like. I crank the drag right down, and I don't bother with it. See, my thing is like I don't like the centrifugal braking system, even on the 13 fishing stuff, where they have like a hybrid between like they have magnet and then they have centrifugal brakes built in. I don't even like those. I actually sold all those off. Believe it or not, the number one freaking company that I'm buying reels from right now has been Cast King, and that is not something I ever thought I would say because they used to suck like really really bad. But I actually found that Cast King's newer products, the Spartacus 2, the casting and spinning reels, and the what the hell is it? Royal Legend 2, they have that like really pretty purple one. I have those in both spinning and casting. So I have like 4 casting reels now at this point, and every one of them has been rock solid. See, so Daiwa, I will say, this is again, which is weird. I had very little success with the Tatulas. I didn't really like them. I don't know why. I just didn't like them. The so Daiwa CC80 is the reels that I have for Daiwa. Those are the ones that actually ended up in the lake for 3 weeks. Took the line off of it, put line back on it, and it casted and had no problems. No gear issues, no cranking issues. Literally, testament to Daiwa. Those reels are awesome. But the Tatulas, I wasn't really a big fan of, and I just really didn't want to spend the money. And yeah, Mike, what did you get? You got 40% off. I didn't see that earlier. Your rod and reel. Was it a rod and reel combo, Mike Riley, or was it like you bought both separately? I'm waiting to get put in Facebook jail because this is going on Facebook too. I'm waiting for them to be like, ah, he's making drugs on Facebook. It was actually funny. Last year I was doing this. I used to have this set up in my mudroom off the front of my house, and the neighbor kids came down. I was literally sitting in a camping chair in my boxers, pouring plastisol, stirring baits like this, and my neighbor called me, was very concerned, thought I was like making drugs down here. Toronto. Jesus, dude. That's an expensive setup. Alright, we're going to try another open pour, guys, so I'm going to be focused. Let's talk about Michael Bradley's rod real quick while I'm pouring this. Boy, I really suck at open pour. See if that one comes out better. Can't really tell if I filled this thing or not. Hoping that has a flat top. This freaking open pour stuff is way, way harder than it looks. I'm telling you. Dude, it is kind of like Breaking Bad. I'm not going to lie. It smells freaking awful in here if I don't wear this respirator. I'm going to let that sit. Alright guys, we're going on like an hour. I'm probably actually going to call it because this freaking propane heater is killing me right now. It either cooks me out of here or freaking I freeze because it's not warm enough. I'm actually getting a diesel heater for this room very soon. But I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. I appreciate all the regular guys that come out and watch these videos. You guys are awesome. I really, really appreciate you guys because you always show up every single time I post one of these. So I do plan on doing a live stream on Thursday. I've actually got a new member of Slay Nation coming on to talk fishing and hang out. So that'll be up for sure. And yeah, guys, we're gonna do this every other week. I'm gonna do some bait making videos, talk fishing, just kind of hang out. Even less formal than the Spawn podcast, if you can believe it. But yeah, guys, this was kind of an experiment, and I really, really appreciate you guys taking time to hang out with me. And well, I will see you guys on Thursday.